77 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and this whole episode's going on YouTube again because it did all right last week. Merci.
Jack Williams is here.
Hello, everybody.
And Dan Bayliss.
Hello, Wolves fans.
We're going to start with Rui Patricio. It looked bad, didn't it, when it first happened against Liverpool, Harry? And Nuno says he's going to be okay. I think he's actually in the Portugal squad. So a little bit of a silver lining, down for a long time, but obviously we send our best wishes to him.
Yeah, well, he put a post out on his own social media, didn't he? Or I saw it somewhere with his thumbs up saying he's okay and thank you for the support. So it was a worry. He was down for ages, wasn't he, after taking a knee off Cody, unfortunately. And I'm sure we'll get into the offside stuff as well, which pretty much created that. And yeah, I think we can say it now because we know he's okay, but he was at fault for Jota's goal. I'm sure we'll get to that too. But yeah, I'm glad he's okay because we've had such a rotten time with injuries this year. When he went down with another head injury, he was like, bloody hell, not again. It was just quite upsetting to see, but thankfully he's okay.
Doing the maths, Bayliss, sort of 85 minutes Patricio was injured, 100 minutes the game restarts, 107 minutes full time, and it just didn't add up, did it?
Careful, because that's Tim Spears' maths, and he's going to shout at you on social media now.
What for? Really
plagiarising his mathematical
skills.
It's
in the public domain, so have some of that.
Yeah, it did seem a bit short, but we could have played for 800 minutes and we wouldn't have scored one. So, doesn't really matter, does it?
I don't know. I thought we were looking threatening at parts, particularly. I mean, let's just rewind and go back to the whole performance as a whole. And I was really pleased with it. I was really pleased with the whole first half performance, pretty much right up until Jota scored and sort of sucker punched us right at the death. Mm-hmm. Honestly thought we were going to go 0-0 at half time in, but it just suddenly looked like we could actually pass the ball again and we could actually move.
We were good.
And run about. And
we were great.
We looked like Brazil at one point.
We did some brilliant passing football. I thought, on the whole, as Jack said, as a performance, I thought we were really good. I didn't have a lot to moan about. It was just that we got caught with one eventually. But we were great in every aspect of the pitch, except for the one that's most important in football, which is sticking one in. Giggity. And poor, really poor. I watched Jose a couple of times when balls came into the middle. He was flat-footed, completely static. I don't get how we are trying to score goals. Traore had one shot that sort of stung Alisson's palms. Other than that, everything else was weak, really weak.
Harry, do you want to hear my show notes for today? I've got Salah is a diver, Pawson is a red, and Thiago can't foul. Am I wrong?
Oh my God, Pawson! Just out of those, he was shocking, wasn't he? For one, I think it was a penalty right at the beginning on when Semedo went down. It was on Semedo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. He nearly scored as well, didn't he? I think it would have been ruled out for offside, but he was brilliant when he bailed Semedo, so I was going to mention that. But I do agree. I honestly didn't feel
1-0 loss. Great that.
I didn't feel like we were going to score either. You think of Neves' chance as well, just before Jota scored when he put it wide. It's just the way we are, isn't it? We played well, I agree with Jack. Good performance. Moutinho was much, much better in the midfield. I thought he was one of our best players, to be honest.
91% pass accuracy, 100% long ball accuracy, 5 duels won, 15 ball recovery. So that does back up what you're saying, Harry.
Definitely. And we've proper slated him, haven't we? We've said, should we just put him on the coaching staff? He's finished. So to see him do a performance like that was good to see.
It's Portuguese, not finished.
That on. But yeah, honestly, the game, it was a better performance, I agree. But I still was a slumped there thinking we ain't scoring. I still had that feeling. So although it was better, it's still not good enough in the final third going forward.
Back to the penalty appeal, the first one, Bayliss. I know the authorities are coming out now and saying that there was a potential handball in there by Semedo, and that was the reason that it wasn't looked at by VAR because it wasn't a clear enough use of it.
That's nonsense, because if they looked at it, there'd have been a thing on the screen saying VAR check, and they'd have gone handball.
Well, they check everything though, don't they? They always jump back on the clause that they check everything.
They can't check that and said no penalty, because if there's no foul by a Wolves player and there's no handball, it's a penalty.
So okay, but you're then relying on one crucial thing here, and that's the competence of the people in the VAR room to give a penalty against Liverpool in the first minute.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's the other way, it's a penalty.
Alisson should be playing in the Six Nations next weekend. It was a great tackle. Wrong sport.
I watched it back a few times and I didn't see any handball from Semedo. So I think we can just dismiss that straight away. As soon as it happened, and I thought Ugley's lost control here. And effectively, it bounces off Semedo, so he's back active in play. He can play for the ball because it's hit him because of Alisson's miscontrol. You're right in front of goal. It's a goal scoring opportunity as well in my book, and he just gets completely clattered because Alisson's panics because he's dropped it. Now, I think we all said it at the time. If that's Patricio does that, no matter what minute, you're not telling me that that's not going to get given. 100% is going to get given. And it's the way VAR will look to sort of give a penalty to Liverpool if it's going for them, but look to not give it as an excuse to not give it if it's going against them. And I think that's an exact example of what's happened.
The Moutinho one would have been, if it was a Man United et al., that's getting given. Because Alexander-Arnold clearly just gives it one and he goes over.
I don't.
It's weak. It's a weak penalty.
Soft.
To me, it's not
soft. But
to me, it's not a penalty.
But the first one is just, and I know that the excuse as the commentator gave was like, oh, maybe it's because it's just in the first 90 seconds. Since when was that a rule? No, that's a rule, is it? So you can clatter somebody for the first 90 seconds and it's allowed, but if you do it later on in the game, it'll be a penalty.
And Harry, it's ridiculous. Bad when you're there after the game and they're trying to claw at some sort of reason as to why it be. Or like Jack mentioned there, you've got it in-game commentary saying, oh, maybe it's because of this. It was designed to get rid of this conversation. We shouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly. VAR should just give it. That's the be-all and end-all with it. And it is that. Pawson, who was shocking, is looked at it and thought, too early. And I agree. If it was up the other end of the pitch at exactly the same time, it gets given. He's worried about the backlash he's going to get and things like that from the likes of Klopp after the game. And it's a shame because we deserved to get a penalty for that. The keeper's made a big mistake. He's dropped the ball. Semedo's there and he clatters him. And how it's not given, I don't know.
I thought Pawson was poor throughout the game as well. Shocking. Terrible. If a Liverpool player went down, it was a foul. Yet Thiago smashed people 4 or 5 times, eventually got a yellow. He should have been on a yellow well before half-time. Mm-hmm. The fact that Neves got 1 for 1 tackle.
It was shocking. And it's probably one of the worst refereeing performances in terms of bias that I've ever seen. And that's saying something after how bad it's been this season with the standard of refereeing. But you think about the one where Bolly clearly wins a tackle and he gives a free kick to Liverpool. It was just like the start of the second half, I think. And also, I'm not sure of this because at the time, it's hard to tell when you're only watching it through the TV on one angle. I'm pretty sure the linesman gave us the throw. James Meal starts going tits. And
he did.
Instead, he overrules him. He overrules the linesman who's closer to it because James Milner starts going mental, even though he's further away and I had to look through 2 players. So basically, if they shouted loud enough, they'd get the decision, is what that
I still can't say that it changed the game. I still don't think Wolves deserved, even though he played very well, deserved anything from it.
Just we couldn't score.
We cannot score. We are so weak. It's just...
I think we were good for a point from that game.
Yeah,
overall.
definitely.
I don't think anyone could have been...
We are wetter than an otter's pocket.
Well, what did they do? How many shots did they have?
They had that Mane chance, didn't they, when he took it round?
Yeah, Mane should have rounded Patricio. If Mane had gone down, that would have been a penalty.
I know people moan about stats, but if you look at the stats, it was dead even. It was just down to finishing. Jota, saying that, Patricio should have saved Jota's goal.
But look at our chances, Harry. All the shots on target that we had, 3 of them were just headers that Yanana'd saved.
Yeah, but at least we were creating chances. The first half was more entertaining than we have been, and we actually did create stuff.
Great. If we play that football with a competent striker, we're in business. We're absolutely in business.
I'm not liking the whole competent striker thing because I think William Jose had probably his best half of football in the first half.
If he was a competent striker, we'd have won the game 3-1.
Would we? With those 3 chances that he had that he didn't score.
Well, a good striker scores goals. That's your job. That is what you paid your hundreds of thousands of pounds for. If you're a good striker, you score goals. The bloke has had chance after chance after chance and has headed the ball at a keeper. Great. Brilliant.
Headed the ball
Thanks
at a keeper? Well, I'm sorry, but there's another Fabio Silva header for the collection, which he should have scored.
Off his shoulder, wasn't it?
Comes off his shoulder.
That's funny, the replay.
It's both of them, but they just cannot score a goal. They can't.
I agree, but I'm not saying that William Jose's done everything perfectly or anything, but there was that 1-3 ball, particularly in the second half, where we broke and he tried to pass it to Traore, and God knows what he tried to do there. But his first half performance in terms of his all-round play was good. Granted, he didn't score, but I don't think we just use him as a scapegoat because, as I said last week,
I'm not scapegoating him. I'm just saying that when you have a good game and you lose 1-0 and and you have 8 shots on target or whatever we had, it's clearly the strikers that are the issue. If you have chances and create chances and don't score a goal, you're in trouble.
His link-up play was good, though.
Strikers, sorry. How many of those chances fell to the strikers?
It comes back to the footballing brain thing, I think, again, Harry, when we look at Traore, because I know the Wolves Twitter account, which is the Portuguese one, put out the video of him doing a brilliant turn on the halfway line and then goes on a run, and then the video stops. And you think, well, hang on, what happens next? It's almost like a question of sport thing. And you know what happens next? He loses the ball and nothing happens. Because the footballing brain, isn't there? He's got Jota at the side of him. And
all day, we can sit here all night and record this and talk about stats and how we played and who got a great pass percentage. There are only 2 stats that matter in fucking football: the goals you score and the goals you concede.
Yeah, but Bayliss, listen, we've been moaning about our performances the last few weeks and how bored we are. It was a decent performance, so we can't.
And we can take a bit of solace.
Yeah, we are.
We take a bit of solace,
yeah,
but that's it.
I agree. We can't hit the side of a Renault Smash, as we always say, but the performance was better. So, and it was more entertaining. Like, at least for once, I wasn't bored.
Yeah,
I wasn't bored to tears in the first half for once watching Wolves. Yeah, so that's a positive. That's a big positive. But I agree. We know there's a problem with scoring goals, and it didn't happen. Yes, there were some poor performances, but at least Moutinho was back really good. Who else? So I thought Semedo was good too. Neto and Traore probably a bit quiet. I agree with Jack about Willian Jose. Yes, he needs to start scoring. He don't look like scoring, but his link-up play is really good. That's a positive. Like the approaches towards goal. If he can just find his scoring boots, hopefully he can be okay.
Three cheers for not scoring again. 3 cheers.
Yeah, but then Bayliss next week,
finishing 15.
A few weeks ago, you were moaning about how shit we are to watch, even when we were winning 1-0. So
I'm actually reasonably happy with the performance, but there is still a massive underlying.
You don't seem like it. You're like you're fucking.
Yeah, but I'm taking the performance as a bit of solace, a bit of we've got it in us. We're clearly a good team still. We've had a bad run. We can still play football, but that still doesn't cut the fact can't score any pissing goals. And if you can't score goals, you're never going to do any good.
Been edged in games again, isn't it? It's always the odd goal this season. I mean, there have been times where we've been battered. I mean, West Ham being one of them, and it's who we've got next in 3 weeks' time. And how good a time has this break come, Jack? Because obviously it wasn't the result we wanted, not getting a single point from that game, but it's Raul being 3 weeks closer to potentially coming back this season. It's a good break for everybody. I know a lot of the squad are on international duty, most of them obviously with Portugal. But what do you think in terms of timing and the length of the gap as well?
I'm quite pleased with it from my point of view. I think we could all do with a little break, particularly with the way the seasons have been rolling into each other, like the kind of happened with the end of last season and this season, and how frustrating it's been. I think everyone could do with a few weeks off football, to be honest with you, just to recharge before this nice run of 6 games that we've got coming up. So obviously it's a bit different with some of the players being away on international duty, and obviously with Nuno bottling the cup, that's given us a nice little break here. So I'm quite pleased, and hopefully we can just go on a little bit of a run to the end of the season and just cement our just build a bit of a momentum for next season. I think we're pretty safe. We're going to go down. The thing is, though, I think a few people have been looking at the table this week and thinking, hang on, Fulham, Brighton won at the weekend. Fulham are flying now. We're not completely out of it without another win, really.
2 more wins, we're done, aren't we? And I think we can do that.
Yeah.
Can I just say one positive at the game? Raul's new hair, man. How good is that? His new grey hairstyle. Imagine how good that's going to look on the thumbnails on YouTube when he comes back.
Yeah.
You're going to start earning money again, aren't you?
Actually, just going back to the game, just as one thing I just thought of, and that was the fact that basically there's about 30 seconds left of injury time at the end of the first half. We have a throw-in our own half, and 20 seconds later the ball's in our net. And that's an issue, really, because we should have just killed that game off and got into 0-0 at half time. But what happens is we played it to Willian Jose, actually, and then he headed it up in the air and then it went back. And we've gone from having a throw in our own half to like them having a 3-on-3 with 10 seconds left of the half, and Jota scores it.
Granted, was that down their left-hand side? Was that down their left-hand side?
Down our.
I know where he's going with this.
What's the right side of our defence doing?
Well, he took the throw in, actually, which is what he does.
Oh well, there we go.
So I don't think you can fault him.
Possession, literally.
What did you think of Jota's celebration? He was quite muted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He started celebrating and then
And he like
realised
stopped.
Really
Yeah.
remembered, yeah.
I didn't like his interview after though, when he said like, "We know what to expect against these type of teams." You're like, "Fuck off, mate! You used to play for us, you bell end."
I'll be honest, I turned it off straight after. I didn't really want to see the post-match interviews. I was like, no, I don't want
Very
to listen
angry.
to Jota.
I wanted to hear if Patricia was okay, so stuck
I
around.
wasn't angry. I was quite pleased with I was pleased with the performance. It was just so
Yeah,
much
I
better.
think
And if we play like that every week and we win some 2-1, we win some 2-0, we lose some 2-0, at least we'll be entertained and happy.
It's the
which is what
fact
we
it's
wanted.
Liverpool that it's all right. The problem is that I see us doing similar things against the rubbish as well. This is the problem.
I mean,
Let's
Liverpool
wait.
weren't on the game, were they? They weren't the Liverpool of
Nah.
last season anywhere close. So,
They were there for the taking, weren't they? Let's be honest.
yeah, I think so. The chance was certainly there. But I think the elephant in the room, Harry, are the substitutions. 1-0 down, chasing a game. And you bring on Morgan Gibbs-White and Dendoncker
Yeah.
and Fabio, and you just think, you look at the bench and to be fair, you go, who changes that game in an attacking sense?
Was
I think
Vitinha on the
paper-
bench? I can't remember. He was, wasn't he? What's he got to do? I mean,
He
I'd
was
get
on the bench, yeah.
Yeah, I'd get Vitinha on over Gibbs White for me. I would, but he brought Gibbs White on. Dendoncker, honestly, I probably would have started him over Matinho before the game. But then the way Matinho played, obviously in hindsight, I'm glad he never. Fabio come on and obviously had that finish where it hit him on the shoulder, and flew over the stands. So yeah, we know
Gibbs
about the
White-
bench, don't we?
If Gibbs White was Portuguese and not English, no one would even know who he was. He's had one good game.
Well, he'd be like Vitinha, wouldn't he? No. Goal against Chorley and
He should stick to TikTok or whatever it's called.
Oh, don't. Let's not bring that up again.
Yeah. I think being a little bit harsh, but I think we did lose the midfield a little bit with the substitutions. I don't think it helped. We weren't like peppering them. I don't think we weren't like peppering them for the last 10 minutes like we probably should have been when we're chasing the game. But nice little flip from Fabio to play Gibbs White. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that
Crazy
was
nothing.
good. Yeah,
that was a really nice bit of play. But it's a shame that there wasn't somebody else draw on the end of that or something. I don't know. But there's lots of positives.
yeah. And I think the one main positive really is that Rui is okay. And that's the main thing. I think that's all anybody really cared about from a Wolves point of view after the game was that he was okay.
We kind of got baited as well. Remember last week? I can't remember if we said it on the podcast or we spoke about it on WhatsApp, but Johnny put Pedence back in his FPL, didn't he? And I thought Pedence was going to be fit for this game. So hopefully he's back after this big break.
Yeah.
Because we miss him, don't we? Someone like him in to freshen up the attack might do us wonders going forward.
That's a good point, actually, because when did he put him in?
Like just before the game, yeah. He
Just before the
put
game. So
Pedence
it
in,
wouldn't have counted him until Friday, isn't it?
Oh,
'Cause they
maybe,
get
yeah,
changed
good
on the
point.
Friday. So
Yeah.
there you go. Good spot. Actually, there was a thing about that, wasn't there? About match fixing.
Yeah, Grealish.
And people giving away who's potentially going to be starting games, and they're saying to people that work at the club, you can't have a fantasy Premier League team because you're giving away trade secrets.
Against Villa, I think it was Johnny again, took out William Jose and put Watkins in.
Yeah.
And you stood there as a Wolves fan thinking, hold on, you're defending against Watkins and Jose starting for us. I'm a bit worried about this one. So, yeah, I think it's a bit of a dodgy thing, isn't it? That I think they're going to have to crank down on that because Grealish got a lot of the Villa players took out Grealish and then it come out that he was crocked and he was out for months. So they're gonna stop him doing that.
They should ban it, I think. I think it's a bit close to the mark. You can't gamble on a game, and this is any sort of influence or edge you might be giving away by changing your team is not good. So just and also if you're earning 100 grand a week, why do you need to play fantasy football? Like what?
Bit of
Got
fun in
nothing
it,
else to
but
do.
it just
Train 10
influences
till
it.
2.
Yeah, it's free though, isn't it? Obviously, you can play for money between friends, but it is actually free, the FPL. But still, it does influence things, doesn't it?
Influence games because you could have had Nuno or Klopp looking at this game and going, oh, actually, there's a good chance that he's going to play, which means we're going to change how we approach the game.
Maybe Nuno got Johnny to put Pedence into full Liverpool, so they thought he was coming back. Obviously not, but thinking outside the box.
We'll finish off with a man of the match. I think I can guess who it's going to be, but Harry, you stick with Matinho?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to give it old Matinho. He was really, really good. Back to his best.
Jack?
Yeah, 100% Matinho. I was really, really impressed. It's one of these where there have been question marks lately, and that was just the best display that he's probably put in all season, I think. And maybe it's just the way we're managing it. Maybe it's his legs. Maybe he should only be playing every other game. But if he plays like that every other game, he can stay for another 2 or 3 years. I don't care.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Do we have 4 Jamatinos, Bayliss?
Jota.
different. Do anything?
He was actually quiet though, when to be
Doesn't matter.
honest.
Who won? Who won?
A Wolves player?
That wasn't the question, is it?
This will be what happens when if we next time Semedo scores, we win 1-0, and you'll be saying
say it's crap.
You
Yeah,
didn't defend very well.
this is how
How could
you just
Monan could have scored
Mark
that?
Mark the date. It's never going to happen.
I mean,
Getting
it happened
closer.
Nearly
He's getting
quite a lot.
closer, man.
He is getting
Yes.
closer.
You asked for a man of the match, and the person that was the difference between the two teams was Jota. So Jota.
Down because of poor goalkeeping. Should have been saved, let's be honest.
Don't matter how they go in, does it? It just says goal.
Excellent.
You do chat some rubbish down.
We will get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
No, you lot are literally turning yourselves into Mike Bassett's 3 cheers for Ramirez. Oh, we were great. Oh,
You're,
Wolves
you're doing 3
fantastic.
cheers for Jota? Bloody hell. You don't
End
play
of
for
the
us
day.
anymore.
At the end of the day, that's who won the game.
As it is Cheltenham this week, we have some Cheltenham-inspired bets.
Sorry, can I just go back on Dan just before you go on to that? So,
Jackie's on the wind-up. It's
when we
quite
beat
clearly on
Leeds
the wind-up.
1-0, who got man of the match? The Leeds
Sorry?
goalkeeper. When we beat Leeds 1-0 away, did you give the man of the match to the Leeds keeper?
Yeah, he won us the match. And at home, the one when it coffees back.
Wait, it's an own goal.
Yeah.
I guess
Is
that's
that the-
Traore that day because he was the difference.
There you go.
No,
Sushant.
the
Right,
goalkeeper
move
was the
on.
difference. He put the ball in the net.
No, it's Traore. That.
You've all fallen into the trap of Bayliss winding you up. Now, Bayliss, you have some Cheltenham-inspired bets this week. It'll be the Thursday and the Friday as well. Please gamble responsibly.
I haven't had inspired bets. It's Wednesday evening and I'm a fair bit down. 3 horses second by the length of Harry's little Willie. Absolutely ridiculous today. It's so unlucky.
Yeah, he's miles behind then, was he?
Yeah. All 3 inches.
1 mile length.
Well, we haven't actually. Normally, every now and again, you come up with something that is quite Wolves related, but Jack and I have had a little look. We found a couple that are running over the next couple of days, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a few. Well, I'll jump in first. There's one tomorrow, the 1540 Cool Cody. I think we've said that one before last year, maybe. So there's a Wolves link there with Cody.
Yeah. There is also Wolf Prince in the 5-2 on Friday.
Nice.
Other
What
than
odds are
that-
they? Do you know what odds they are?
Big.
Oh, the ones
I know
they're
that
all
Wolf
big.
Prince was massive.
Yeah. So I think all of them. Right, there's a couple of others here. Then we've got 1540 on Friday, Law of Gold. If
Ooh.
you're looking for the gold there.
Very nice.
What day does Shergar run again? I was going to put my fiver on that.
Shergar,
Good.
I think you need to sit on him and have a selfie. To be honest.
There are some that run in gold and black, just to add a little bit to it. There's one called Sam Spinner as well.
Runs in gold and black, yeah.
Even more relevant for Sam, there's another one, gold and black, called You Never Call. So explains all your relationships.
Also, in the last race on Friday, the 1650, there's Golden Taipan, which I think is a type of snake, isn't it? A taipan? Is that true?
Python.
A python is a snake.
Oh,
Typhon? No, I don't know.
Typhon.
Yeah,
Any-
Taipan's
anyway,
a snake.
so there's a few very loose Wolves links there, but they're all at very big prices. So I think that basically, if all those come in and you have a little roll up, you'd be able to buy Nelson Semedo or Fabio Silva. It's up to you.
Do we know what happened with that £1 million fivefold?
Yeah, no, a bloke won £1 million with Paddy Power the other week.
No way.
Last week, yeah, he got. It was like they do a continual thing over the weeks, and he won £1 million.
Well, that half
there
a
is a
million's
guy-
more, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a
And
guy
they
going
needed
for half
Envoy
£1
Allen.
million. Bear me a sec, I've got it here.
Envoy Allen from a £5 stake, £511,000.
And they're
to
offering
be
him-
fair, I think it's the shortest one on there that he needed to win because there was about a 25 to 1.
Yeah.
and
He's
12
backed
to
these
1.
all an absolute age ago, though.
Yeah,
because
June,
the one
he
that won
said,
this
yeah.
morning, the one that won this morning, Bobalinga, went off at even money. So he's had
Yeah,
an
he-
absolute. And
Yeah.
Shishkin, I backed that yesterday. That was just over even
That
money.
fella, right? He's
No,
on
sure,
Twitter.
even money.
The Football Accumulators page found him, and like I looked on his Twitter page, and he said, like Baelish just said, he did it all in June. So he's one of these. He won 20 grand as well on another bet, off a fiver.
Yeah.
So he knows his stuff. Obviously, he like studies the horses, but
I
they're
wouldn't be
offering him
cashing out, though.
275 grand. They're offering him now to take it. I don't think he's taking it. I think he's letting it go.
Why have a fivefold if you're going to back? If you're going to take 4?
It's a bit different when it comes to having 1-4 and you've got a big decision to make, though.
Yeah.
You never think it's going to come in, do you?
I reckon he's not cashing out because he knows what he's doing. He's backing everything anti-post, so he'll be laying that on Betfair himself probably. It's probably better value.
He's got
So,
9-2, and it's way
Is that
short
the
on
favourite? That horse is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So-
Then let it run in it. Watch it fall
I
over
think
down the last
he'll-
fence.
he'll
Or
have-
something.
I reckon he'd have done his own insurance on that, knowing he's got 500 grand
Yeah.
and he'll be putting 20, 30 grand on it to lose.
Let's put it this
elsewhere.
way: he knows more about horse racing than us four, doesn't he? By the sounds of it.
Probably, yeah.
Well, yeah, to pick a horse at 25-1 that went off at even money,
Yeah, he knows.
you're pretty sharp.
It's all fixed anyway. Any ticket news? Anybody got any books, any tickets anywhere?
I did actually, but Sam, I booked in to have my haircut on the 17th of April, so I can't
Have
wait
you?
for that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, you have 4D Magnum
yes.
back in the bag.
Short back and
Excellent.
sides, walk out, my shades on, do a cartwheel, and we're back in the pubs.
Bayliss, when are you having a haircut?
I need one desperately.
do.
I'm but one in yet.
Jack, what about you? You look a little bit like a lesbian.
Yeah, it's not
And
like
you need a haircut.
it's not down to first lockdown levels, which are a bit ridiculous. But
Oh, that was
I'll
so
I'll
funny.
be straight down the barbers as soon as they.
You look like
open.
Gaston off Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, remember when we did a video after Villa and we beat them 1-0 on my YouTube channel, Jack? And all
Yeah.
the comments were like, that bloke needs some testosterone in his system and things like that. Your hair was like, you look
I mean,
a Karen
that is
haircut.
true.
Like, can I speak to the manager, please? Haircut,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
That was bad. That was probably like 3 times the length of it is now. But anyway,
We'll be allowed in a
dear.
pub garden for the Albion game.
yeah,
First of
yeah,
May,
definitely. Yep, 1st of May.
Any pubs in the West Midlands area with a TV outside?
I'm sure there's a
Steve?
few.
can we not
Uh,
just like go to someone's garden?
The Wagon and Horses in Bewdley. I reckon they had a TV outside, didn't they? And they served
They
bathing.
did,
Yes,
they
it
did
did.
15 years ago down here.
The only thing is, though, everyone's going to have the
Get
same
with 30.
idea, and that beer garden's about as big as a pond, so it'd be hard to
Yeah.
get in.
It's as big
Can't
as
we
a
just-
pond.
Can't we just go to the Mansell? bit
Like the
of
Hog's
garden?
Head.
I think we should just put the TV in Harry's front garden. Bring the sofa out. Fit in with the
Live on the
local
Welsh is
clientele.
like set. This doesn't make sense to anyone listening.
No,
Unless
true.
you- unless you
Just
staff or-
finally, then, I saw this tweet. Football's changed, hasn't it? I think I've lived through the best era. 1998 to 2008. Football was brilliant. That was the decade, I think. 08 to now, I think it's gone backwards every single year. Now it's just really average. It's just rolled in a load of glitter. Trust your eyes. I agree. I think that's a great era for football. Overall, football, I think, because you had Ronaldo smash him in his prime. Big
Which one?
European
Fat
games
Ronaldo.
with English teams. Was it
Nah.
2008? I think Chelsea and Manchester United Champions League
I,
final.
I remember you shared that on WhatsApp, and I agree. But the thing is, that era as well, we were like teenagers, wasn't we? So I said to you, like, when I was from the ages of about 12 to 17, I was like obsessed with football, and I used to watch everything. But now, as you get older, things change, don't they? So now I only really watch Wolves these days. I don't really
Harry,
watch any
this
other
is-
football.
The depressing realization of this is we're all getting towards our 30s in our 30s. And we're
Yeah.
turning into our dads slowly. Because if you ask any of your dads when the best era of football is, they'll say it was when they were late teenagers, early
Yeah,
20s.
yeah. But in terms of Wolves, we
true.
have our best era has been recently, hasn't it? Let's be honest, the last few years under Nuno. So
Well, I think you can beat it in terms of the quality, but I don't know. It's the context, isn't it? Because I think the only reason that the 98 to 2008 era that tweet was talking about, if you said 99 to 2009 as a Wolves fan, you got some pretty big games and seasons in that time period, and a lot of disappointment as well, getting pipped to the post. But then you've got two promotions in there.
yeah, the playoff final, man, that was.
But yeah,
massive.
That playoff final is still one of my best early memories. How about yours, Jack?
We had a great time on Quiet Tour, didn't we, Jack? that one, yeah. It's when
Shows how young
Jack
you were.
actually had the same hairdo as everybody else there. So, I don't know. What about you, Bayliss? Is an era of football bringing in the context of the situation as well?
All sport, no matter what it is getting progressively better. Nothing has ever gone back.
You think football is with VAR and that
I
coming
don't think
in?
it's better.
As a spectacle, it's getting
As a-
worse. Football
As a
I don't
quality
care what you say.
sport, it's just getting quicker, faster, better players.
Is that better though?
Yeah,
It's quicker.
I
It's quicker,
think-
better.
Think
You
how
want everything
competitive
to
though.
improve.
Think how competitive the Premier League was in like the early noughties, like with Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, like Liverpool. were a
Paul
bit shit back
Merson was
then.
one of the best players, and he used to have 5 cans before training and a bag of coke.
Paul
So,
Merson wasn't one of the. Well, that was in the 90s, wasn't it? You're thinking of Paul Merson was a
I'm
bit
just
shit
saying,
in the early
football is
noughties.
getting better and better. Like
Is it
the-
better because
they are
it's
all
faster
now,
though? That's the
Yeah,
that's
they're
the
all
point.
now peak athletes. Everything's about how it's taken like that NFL model where everyone's got to be an athlete, fitness,
Disagree.
nutrition, diet. It's not now just players turning up, putting on their boots and booting it.
I don't know.
Like, yeah,
So
there
I
were
think
great
I don't
players.
think it's like
that Man
you
United
can't say
team,
it's-
right? When they had like Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney, I think they'd
Yeah.
smash the Premier League these days. That Man United team with
Nah,
Vidic
they
and
wouldn't.
Ferdinand at the back, they
No, they
fucking would. They would,
No.
mate.
This Man
They
City
would.
team's one of the best teams ever to be about.
Or is it because the league shit and they're just killing it?
No.
This year, like, and then when they did, well, saying that year when Liverpool and City both got nearly 100 points was mad. But is that because the Premier League overall shit? So two teams getting 90 points never
there have
happened.
been great
in the
years, and
noughties?
we're looking at quite close timescales here. But it's always getting better. Sport, there are off years, but all sport is getting better and better.
Maybe, but as I
disagree.
say,
Because if you look at like the Olympics, it's just crap. And they're technically getting better because records are getting broken. But it's still rubbish.
No, it's not
Rubbish to watch. Still, no one likes
there we go.
track and
Rubbish.
field. Track and
Here's
field.
hockey.
Everyone
don't
used to
like
hate
it.
track and field, unless you're
You
a crap
don't
at
like
football.
it, so everyone hates
The
it.
Olympics is
Correct.
just a tournament for sports that people only care about every 4 years. We watch football.
I
every
love
week.
the Olympics, man. It's one of my.
I love the
favourite
Olympics.
things
I could
ever.
sit
Do you
and watch.
really?
I could,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love
Really?
it. Man.
Do you
I
actually?
think we take
I could genuinely sit and watch women's shot put for all I care. I love the Olympics.
You
Yeah,
could
I'm
watch.
like that.
You would rather watch women's shot put than the World Cup final.
I didn't say that. I just said I enjoy watching the Olympics.
Yeah, I love watching the
Outstanding.
boxing and the swimming. I love the swimming in the Olympics as well.
It's stuff you don't get to see very often. It is like
Well, that's
impressive
the
stuff.
point. Has anyone beaten Phelps's records yet? Because if sports getting
Well, I know that
better, they
I
should
know
be
that Adam
breaking them
Peaty,
every year,
the English guys, bust a load of like smashed records by miles.
yeah.
And
Interesting.
there will be always someone that comes along, and it's when do we get to the point where we reach the peak of human performance? Like
Well,
Well,
look
no,
at
that's
Ronaldo
what
and
I think
Messi.
it comes down to competitiveness and entertainment, doesn't it? Just because someone's quicker, faster, does it make it better?
Well, it's like what did our mate Aaron say that it's only I'm probably going to misquote him horrendously here, but it's only physically possible for the human body to throw a baseball at 118 miles an hour, and they're already hitting 110, 111,
Yeah,
whatever.
but that also comes down to technology with running shoes and actual things that you wear as well. Like if you took a GB hockey player now and gave him a shitty old wooden stick, he's not going to tank it in the top corner as quickly as he would with a modern day.
Better than Fabio Silva.
No,
though.
but I also think the fitness and skill and their hand-eye and ability and their focus and doing their job as hockey makes them better at that sport.
Yeah,
You can
but they can run quicker because the shoes are more lightweight. And
I think even if you gave them an old wooden stick, they could still do things with it that was never seen in the game.
But I think the main
at that
argument
time.
about that tweet, going back to the tweet which started this conversation, it's things like VAR and that I think he's referring to. It's just changed, hasn't it? I know VAR is only recent, but it is spoiling it as a spectacle. I don't care what
it's
anyone
completely
says.
ruined it, VAR.
Yeah.
We talk about it every week and we should never be talking about it.
Exactly. So I preferred. That's my favourite era. That exactly what he said. Like 98 to 2008 was just unreal. Even like the World Cups in between there and the Euros and that. I know it's crap for England, but just as in general, everything was
The other thing
brilliant.
is, we're now moaning about the refs with VAR, but we were moaning about the refs before. We're just
Yeah,
doing
we
it in
were.
a different context now.
But they got 98% of decisions right before VAR.
It was only every now and then there was a howler that got discussed for ages, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like I remember years ago when Tottenham played Man United and a bloke shot from the halfway line. It like went 4 yards over the line. They never give it, and then that's
Look at England against Germany, Frank Lampard. 20.
yeah.
Because
That
of
pretty much
technology.
sparked the goal line technology to come in, really, didn't it? That was a big one that they really
We
started.
still got
to-
stuffed.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that would have been 2-2 going in at half time. Completely
and then
different
we'd have lost anyway. So
on penalties. Right, Kate, we will leave it there unless you want to add something, Jack.
Nah, I'm all right.
Excellent. Right, we'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell,
goodbye, everybody.
Dan Bayliss,
Goodbye, Wolves fans.
and Jack Williams.
Hurrah.
And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.